Buckle up, guitar enthusiasts! We're diving into the electrifying saga of Eddie Van Halen's iconic Frankenstein guitar, aka the Frankenstrat. This beast wasn't just an instrument, it was a revolutionary mashup of raw power, ingenuity, and rock rebellion that redefined shredding forever. Born from scraps and sheer genius in early 1977, Eddie pieced together this monster, sparking a legacy that's still scorching stages today. As Eddie himself proclaimed, "The guitar that I wanted to play did not exist, so he built it, crossing Gibson Thunder with Fender Flair out of pure necessity." 90% of the things that I do on guitar, if I had taken lessons and learned to play by the book, I would not play it all the way I do. Crossing a Gibson with a Fender was out of necessity because there was no guitar on the market that did what I wanted. Let's crank up the volume and trace its wild evolution. The birth of a beast, Frankenstein's core parts. It all kicked off when Eddie stormed into the Boogie Body shop in San Dimas, owned by Wayne Charvel and Lynn Ellsworth. Spotting a factory-second, unfinished Stratocaster body, a second due to a knot in the wood, he snatched it up for a steal at just $50. I go up there, there's a body laying on the bottom, and I go, "What are these?" And they go, "Those are seconds," Eddie recalled with a grin. I didn't know what that meant, so I said, "Are they next in line to be manufactured?" They said, "No, it means there's a knot in the wood. Cosmetically, they were not attractive." And I go, "I'll take one of those." But Eddie wasn't done customizing. He had Charvel route the body for a humbucker pickup and one volume knob, making his own pickguard to hide the original 3 pickup holes. For the bridge, he swiped a vibrato tailpiece from a 58 Strat, though, hold on, Eddie once owned a 1958 Strat, but sold it early on after his bandmates trashed its thin, single-coil sound. As for the neck, Eddie craved a wide, bare-wood beast with a thin profile and massive Gibson-style frets. No slippery lacquer for this string stretcher. "I hate skinny necks. I like it bare wood because I hate to slip and slide when I start stretching strings," he declared. Evidence suggests he ordered this custom neck later, debunking the myth of a same-day assembly. Priced at $80, it was the perfect fit for his Frankenstein vision. Eddie's modding madness didn't start here, it was a lifelong obsession. Reflecting on his earliest hacks, he shared, "I remember one of the very first guitars that I went and bought was in a place called Lafayette. It was kind of like a Radio Shack, and they had a 12-string guitar. I liked the guitar, but I didn't want 12 strings, I wanted 6. So I asked the guy, 'Can I take 6 strings off and try it?' The guy goes, 'No.' I go, 'Why not?' He said, 'If you buy it, you can do whatever you want.' So I bought it, took 6 strings off, and loved it. And that was my very first successful attempt at changing something that was considered standard to my liking." This DIY spirit fueled the Frankenstrat's creation. Early riffs, the Frankenstrat before the paint storm. Debuting in early 1977, this raw powerhouse hit the scene in photos by Bo Shannon, bare body and all. At first, it rocked the body from Boogie Bodies, but the neck likely came from Eddie's trusty 61 Strat. A fresh black pickguard covered the mods, and a temporary zebra humbucker roared in the bridge, nothing like his final setup. Dive deeper? Eddie's experimental roots ran deep, especially with his Gibson ES-335, which he tortured in pursuit of perfection. It sounded fine, but the band were like, "Come on, you look like Roy Orbison." That was actually my main experimental guitar. I mean, I did everything that you could imagine to that guitar to ruin it, you know? It was too bad, because that guitar would have been worth some bucks today. But still, I ruined an expensive guitar to learn what I know now of building guitars, which I guess is worth it. These ruins paved the way for Frankie's bold innovations. Who did Eddie collaborate with to create a #1 hit in 1982? Watch until the end to hear the answer. First Paint Assault, Sleek Black Menace. By May 29, 1977, at the Whiskey A Go-Go, the Frankenstrat transformed into a shadowy assassin painted solid black. Specs stayed fierce. White pickguard, 2 single coils, that bridge humbucker, the 61 neck, and the classic tremolo. It was stealthy, sinister, and screaming for more chaos. Van Halen 1 era. White stripes ignite the fire. 1977 cranked the madness higher. Eddie taped strips over the black body, blasted it with white spray paint, and peeled off the tape to reveal killer black stripes like lightning bolts on a storm cloud. Ditching the 61 rosewood neck, he slapped on a custom maple one from Boogie Bodies, flatter, wider, and totally unfinished for that raw grip. No, nothing, just bare wood, because I like to feel the wood, you know? I hate to slip and slide, Eddie quipped. For laughs, he stuck a Gibson decal on the headstock, blending fender flare with Gibson Thunder. Pickup swap. Out went the white humbucker, in came a black one, probably ripped from his Gibson ES 335. I wanted to experiment building my own guitar so I could get the sound I wanted. Put an old humbucking pickup in it and 1 volume knob and painted it up the way I wanted it to look, and it screams. A DIY black pickguard framed the single humbucker cutout. Initially sporting 2 knobs, Eddie soon streamlined to 1 volume pot, pure efficiency. This striped shredder starred on Van Halen's debut album and the 1978 tour, while his Ibanez Destroyer handled the rest. First spotted July 15, 1977, at Whiskey A Go-Go, it was a game changer. Eddie summed up his relentless drive. If you're happy with what you have, then fine, but if not, then do something about it. I apply it to everything. Even if there's something about my car I don't like, or anything for that matter, I'll change it until I like it. Post-tour tweaks, white pickguard, and rosewood revival. After the 1978 tour, Eddie flipped the script again. A rare Lynn Goldsmith photo shows the Frankenstrat with the old 61 white pickguard, screw holes matching perfectly. The black Path humbucker stayed put, but new blood arrived, a Telecaster-style middle pickup and a red Mighty Mite neck single coil. A fresh rosewood fretboard neck replaced the prior one, bolder and broader than the 61 slimline. 1979 Tour Blaze, the iconic red explosion. By 1979, copycats like Charvel were ripping off his design, so Eddie struck back with a vengeance. Charvel started copying them. I said, "What the f, man? I better change it." So I really went to town painting it, all freaked out. Taping lines over the striped body, he unleashed red spray paint, creating the chaotic red-black-white frenzy we worship today. To troll the imitators, he crammed in 3 pickups, but only the rear Gibson PAF worked. The Tele middle and Mighty Mite neck were dummies. The Schwinn bicycle paint gives it pop. The maple neck, swapped from his Bumblebee guitar, headstock painted black for extra edge. Eddie glued reflectors on the back, flashing stage lights back at fans like Syd Barrett's psychedelic stunts. This red demon toured hard, but skipped Van Halen 2 recording. Eddie favored the Bumblebee there, though Frankie stole the album cover. What trips me out is that when I painted the Frankenstein red, that made it more famous. A lot of people still don't know that it's the same guitar as the black and white guitar on the cover of the first Van Halen album. He added, "I kept changing it because I was tired of people copying my guitar, but I also never stopped searching for ways to improve its tone." That guitar went through a lot of phases and changes. 1980 Overhaul, Floyd Rose Fury, and pickup experiments. 1980 brought seismic shifts. Eddie bolted on a Floyd Rose tremolo, the prototype without fine-tuners, for dive-bombing madness. A new neck got the locking nut, with lacquered headstock for shine. Pickups? Briefly, a white humbucker from the Bumblebee appeared, but by 1981, the black PAF reclaimed its throne. To tame feedback, he dipped the pickup in paraffin, the same kind of wax that you use to wax a surfboard. Ditching the Volume Pot's mini pickguard, Eddie crafted a replacement from a vinyl record, punk rock recycling. He yanked the dummy Telly middle pickup, stuffing a useless three-way toggle switch in its cavity for sheer attitude. On the tremolo struggles, because I loved the vibrato bar, and that was probably the most difficult thing, trying to figure out how to keep that thing in tune. The only reason a tremolo goes out of tune is because of friction. When you bring the vibrato bar down, and if the string angle is wrong, then it's not going to slide back to its original position. A lot of it was through necessity and just mistakes. A lot of accidents. Like the one pickup thing wasn't intentional. I just didn't know how to wire it back up to the 5-position toggle switch. It was just too complicated. 1981-82 upgrades. Gold Gleam and Kramer Power. By 1981-82, the prototype Floyd Rose got swapped for a flashy gold-plated version. The makeshift pickguard upgraded to a real Strat scrap. Eddie installed a 22-fret Kramer neck with a 50s Strat headstock, later sanding off the logo, leaving telltale marks. During the Starfleet project with Brian May, yet another neck appeared, proving Eddie's endless quest for perfection. 1983 climax. Beak headstock, coin fix, and jump glory. In 1983, a beak-shaped Kramer neck took over, starring in the Jump video. But the Floyd Rose had glitches, so Eddie improvised, screwing a 1971 quarter to the body as a stop. That coin's still there today, a quirky relic, even though newer Floyds fixed the issue. This final form cemented the Frankenstrat as a timeless icon, blending Fender agility, Gibson growl, and Eddie's untamed spirit. From humble seconds to stage-slaying legend, the Frankenstrat isn't just a guitar, it's Eddie Van Halen's thunderous heartbeat, forever inspiring shredders to build, break, and rock without limits. What a wild ride! Eddie Van Halen died from complications of lung cancer after a years-long battle with various cancers, including tongue and throat cancer, on October 6, 2020. Eddie Van Halen's original Frankenstrat is now owned by his son, Wolfgang Van Halen. The guitar is in his possession and can be heard on the latest Mammoth album. When we were pulling it out of its safe, Dad picked it up and he was just noodling with it for a second, Wolfgang continues. He's like, yeah, feels about the same. And he tossed it onto the couch. Everyone just gasped when he did that. To Dad, it's just a little piece of junk that he built himself. But to us, it's the most famous thing in the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe for our newest content. Who did Eddie collaborate with to create a #1 hit in 1982? Eddie Van Halen broke a Van Halen band rule to play the solo on Michael Jackson's Beat It.